Il cantiere Ranieri International ha realizzato un nuovo
The
modello.
Ranieri International Shipyard has created a new model. It's called the Next 275 LX, and it's worth looking at, especially considering its size. It's a boat just over 8 meters long, but you can't even imagine how well it's been organized to make us feel comfortable and give us a habitability above and below deck typical of larger boats. And then there is another fundamental measurement, the width. It has a maximum beam of 255 centimeters, so we can transport it on a road trailer with a car and enjoy it in many seas and anywhere we decide to go on holiday.
Mi è già venuta la voglia di
I
sognare.
already feel like dreaming about the next cruise. And by the way, I want to show you right away how it's organized below deck. Because it's hard to believe that here there are 4 beds in 2 separate areas. At the bow there is the dinette with a central table, which becomes a double bed with padding all around. Under the mattress there is a large stowage. In the hallway, which has a height of 176 centimeters, there is a container unit for storage above, which I would add as a wardrobe cabinet. The aft berth, although of reduced height, is for 2 people. And then there's the bathroom.
Ci si muove agevolmente.
You can move easily on deck because the maximum width of the hull is maintained at 2/3 of its length.
Quando giudichiamo una barca non dobbiamo accontentarci dell'estetica, dobbiamo anche conoscere come è stata costruita.
When we judge a boat, we must not just be satisfied with the aesthetics. We must also know how it was built. From this hull, Ranieri International adopts their system called the Fully Developed Cockpit System, which means the major components such as the deck, cabins, fuel and water tank bed and storage lockers have been grouped in a single mould. It's more solid that way. On the bow sun deck, the sunbed leaves room for side passages and is well secured. On the forward side of the bridge house, there is a sofa, which also serves as a backrest when lying down. Convenient accessories such as can holders, handles and speakers. I have never seen a navigation bridge like this with a glass bridge. That is, the dark, large vertical glass to clearly see the displays, which can also be very large. The rest of the helm station also shows the attention given to ergonomics. 3 seats convertible into backrests. As for the technical part, there are controls and switches in a frame box, and for safety, there are handrails. The windshield shelters very well and has a nice sporty profile.
In un volume contenuto con precisione millimetrica hanno inserito la cucina.
In a contained volume with millimetric precision, they inserted the kitchen. There is a fridge, a large storage locker, the sink and the burners. But if you want, instead of this module, you can choose to simply have 2 swivel helm seats. The cockpit lends itself to different situations with lots of space and plenty of seats, thanks to the retractable benches on the sides, complete with backrests. The dining table appears when needed. The backrest of the crowning sofa moves and creates a seat facing aft. Two passages lead towards the swimming platform with structural platforms that are not applied and are at the same level as the floor deck.
Per ombreggiare la coperta sono previsti.
To shade the deck, there is a hard top, a soft top, a roll bar with a double awning, and 4 carbon poles with a sunshade awning.
Al pari di uno yacht, potete allestirlo con tutto.
Like a yacht, you can set it up with anything you want, from air conditioning to underwater lights. And then you can customize it by changing the colors of the sides, the hardtop, the console, the stand-up and more.
Questo divanetto mi dà la possibilità di...
This sofa gives me the opportunity to settle down as I want in a decisive and comfortable way, not only in a structured and professional way, but also a little relaxed. Am I right?
Siamo sul lago di Iseo, ma questa è una barca fatta anche per il mare, dove l'abbiamo già...
We're on Lake Iseo, but this is a boat also made for the sea, where we have already tried it both with 2 outboard engines and with the twin version, the 275SL, which has a cabin with a berth for 2 people instead of 4 people, as in this case.
In questo caso per 4 persone.
Trim or low, a little gas, and we'll get into ploughing mode.
Ha già staccato la scia ad appena 8 knots.
It has already left the wake at just 8 knots, confirming the good weight balance of this hull. What I like about this Ranieri International shipyard is their desire to continue to improve and to never settle. And so, for example, we have arrived at the 3rd generation of hulls designed with the HIS system, which is Hull Innovative System. This is what Ranieri International called the way of designing these waterlines with steps, more specifically, designing a particular hull design with steps, or redan.
Abbiamo un fuoribordo.
We have a 350 horsepower outboard, the V10 of Mercury.
Acque decisamente tranquille.
We are definitely in calm waters. There is a light breeze of about 5 knots that fails to form a wave.
Questa barca viene costruita assemblando scafo e coperta con un metodo particolare.
This boat is built by assembling the hull and deck with a particular method, with an elastic joint that allows it to better absorb the deformations that the wave motion inevitably imparts to the boat.
E tutto sommato, questa soluzione...
And all in all, this solution also makes you perceive better comfort on board.
Una sensazione di...
A sensation of less hardness of the hull on the water.
Non ho mosso il trim.
I haven't moved the trim, I'm still in the lowest position. Speed of around 25 knots. At this pace, consumption is 40 litres per hour. But now I'll try to give it a little trim. You immediately notice how the wake moves towards the stern, but we must not overdo it with the trim, because if it is true that it frees the bow sections and therefore allows us to run better, it is also true that the propeller can go into cavitation. So pay attention and make sure you listen to the engine noise to understand if the revs increase and the speed does not increase. Now, with 7% trim, the speed still remained at 25 knots. But by freeing the bow sections from the water, I gained a little consumption. I improved it to 38 litres per hour.
Per saggiare gli effetti dello step non basta mettere giù la manetta e...
To test the effects of the step, it is not enough to put the throttle down and feel the hull free itself from the water. It is also necessary to check that there are no sudden, unexpected or inadequate reactions when veering. And I would say that everything works perfectly here.
Piacevole e
Pleasant and soft even when I turn. Efficiency is good. At 30 knots, we only need 50 litres per hour. Consider that we have 10 cylinders and 350 horsepower.
È il momento
It's
di...
time to go full throttle.
Velocità massima con il trim al 50%, 41 nodi. Ho provato...
Maximum speed with 50% trim is 41 knots. I tested this same boat on the sea with two 150 horsepower engines, and in that case, the speed was 39 knots. So, with minus 50 horsepower, 2 knots less speed is the correct proportion. But I can tell you that regardless of whether you choose a single or double engine, the structure and balance of the hull and the trim adjustment are optimal in both situations. So the choice is yours alone. My suggestion: if you are going to navigate on the lake, a single engine is perfectly fine. If you decide to take long voyages in the open sea, 2 engines are better.
Se decidete di fare lunghe navigazioni in mare aperto, meglio 2.